I've been doing this job for almost 3 years. Before that I was at the Open University in Milton Keynes, where I was Pro-Vice Chancellor for Research, Quality Assurance, Scholarship, and spent the last few months there as Acting Vice Chancellor before moving on to Middlesex. Oh, no day is the same. I have a lot of meetings, so the job of Vice Chancellor as head of the institution is to get involved in a lot of meetings, and I have a lot of paperwork to read, reading reports, plans. I try and spend as much time as I can out and about with the staff, meeting our departments, finding out what their issues are, what their plans are, and of course the students.
We're an amazing university at Middlesex. You can look around at all the things we offer for you as part of your experience while you're with us.
Finding time to mix with the students and talk with them is something that is very important to me, to understand what our students are thinking about their experience here, how we can make it even better for them. That's what the job's all about. Lots of things happening at Middlesex all the time. It's a very buzzy place. Of course, this is our big main campus in London, where we've got about 18,000 students, but we've got about another 20,000 students around the world on our overseas campuses in Malta, Mauritius and Dubai, and with our academic partners around the world who are studying for Middlesex Awards. So we're a large institution and big complex organisation, but I'm very lucky that I've got some great people that help me to run the university. And one thing we're very involved with this year is the first year of our new strategy, which has a number of important new priorities, which are really around, in a nutshell, improving the student experience, making sure our students succeed not just on their courses, but when they go looking for their first graduate job, and that they can really establish themselves hitting the deck running in professional careers. Oh, no challenges at all. It's all easy. No, there's always lots of challenges. Like many universities at the moment, we're constantly having to make sure that our finances are in the right place. Some people think universities are very well off because we charge students fees, but we've got a lot of bills to meet, and for the second period now we're seeing the student fee frozen at the same amount, so many of our costs are still continuing to increase, so we have to look for efficiencies all the time. So actually making sure our finances are sustainable is a big part of what's going on at the moment. We've other challenges too. We want to make sure that all our students realise their full potential, succeed as well as possible, that they're all getting great graduate jobs. We at the moment have about 76% of our graduates find a highly skilled graduate job. That's pretty good, but we want to get that even higher. So that's something we're very focused on, is particularly talking to big employers, getting them into the university, seeing how good our students are, not just in terms of the skills they have, but also the diverse backgrounds that they can bring to many workforces now, in terms of diversity of backgrounds, whether it's culture, ethnicity, gender. We do a lot of work here, for example, interesting young girls at school in thinking about having a science as a career. So that's something we're very active in terms of that kind of diversity agenda. Even when I'm supposedly having downtime, often back in my mind I'm thinking about something going on at the university, thinking through a problem we've got or an opportunity we've got, because there's loads of opportunities every day that we have to think about. Is that for us? Is that exciting? Can we afford it? I love walking in the countryside. I love nature. I've always had an interest in wildlife, and I read a lot. I love going out and having a meal with friends, with my wife. So it's pretty boring, really. I mean, I just like listening to music, reading, walking, chatting with friends, just something that takes your mind off sort of the immediate issues going on at work. I'm a bit of a classical music fan, to tell you the truth. Always have been. And one of my favourite composers is a guy called Dmitri Shostakovich, a Russian. I love his music. Means a lot to me. Always have, ever since I was at school, actually. In terms of pop music, I'm a bit of a sort of 60s person, really. I still love listening to the Beatles, Pink Floyd. Some groups like Lindisfarne I still sort of listen to from time to time. Fairport Convention, I really like Fairport Convention. In terms of contemporary bands, I think the indie band London Grammar is fantastic. I really think London Grammar is such a talented band. And Hannah Reid's their singer, but she writes poetry. I suppose it's a bit like Bob Dylan. Is Bob Dylan a poet or a singer? Well, he's both, but he's mainly a poet. I think somebody like Hannah Reid is a poet, and a singer is just the way she presents it. Quite like reading non-fiction, actually, and it's partly work related. But I read a lot of stuff about the future of work. Are there going to be any jobs in the future? Is all the work going to be done by robots? In which case, how do any of us earn a living? I like sort of reading that kind of stuff. That's just sort of going through, thinking, well, what kind of place is the world going to be? I'm at the moment reading a non-fiction book about nudge theory. This stuff about how people can be encouraged to sort of behave a bit differently, not to drop litter because you put up signs saying, this is how much it costs, etc., to clean the place up. So this is something called nudge theory. I find that quite interesting. I read novels occasionally. I wish I had more time for reading novels. A lot of our students are following politics at the moment. A lot of young people are generally. Jeremy Corbyn's quite a popular man among the students who see him as a bit of a new broom. And soon after I arrived here, actually, I sometimes wear a tie at work. I sometimes don't wear a tie. But one of our student union officers said to me, "Tim, we wish you would take your tie off more often, because then you'd look a bit more like Jeremy Corbyn." So, yeah.